What is happening? What's good, everybody? We here. We in the building. Appreciate all you guys checking in. I got my guys. I got Chris, Protect the Show podcast rolling in with us. I got the Severe Raider, man. Let's do this. How you guys feeling? Chris, I'm going to throw it to you, man. What's good with you?
Good, man. Feeling good. Hydrated on my water. I don't care what Severe say. It's in my cup. Is water, baby. What's happening, fellas? What's good with
y'all?
We don't
believe you. We don't believe you. All right? What's happening, man? Severe, what's going on, big guy?
Oh man, just patiently waiting, man, for one of these shoes to drop. Like either the coach or GM, man, just waiting at this point, man. Hitting refresh on my Twitter and my ESPN like every 5-10 minutes to check, make sure ain't nothing happening.
Yeah, that's where we're at right now. Like it's a waiting game, and I think what's going to happen is we gonna wait a while for this to go down because we all know the guy that's at the top of the list is Ben Johnson, and a lot's going to be determined based on his playoff run when we're going to have kind of a first crack. But the thing is, what's really good is that we had the first crack at him, right? We were his first interview, and so I think at the end of the day, we're going to really know just what this Tom Brady effect really has because first impressions can say a lot, and a lot of reports are coming out saying that the only reason why Ben Johnson is considering the Raiders is because of Tom Brady. And so, there's a lot of head coaching news. There's a lot of GM news, right? There's a lot of GMs that we're now bringing in. I'm not going to kind of go through all those names because let's be honest. I think a lot is going to be determined as to who Tom Brady wants and who's going to marry well with Ben Johnson. And that's really it. And so there's definitely some names. There's the guy out from the Steelers that's coming in. I think he's the assistant to the player personnel. And so I think
Sheldon White.
Yeah. And look, like again, these names are good, but at the end of the day, I think there is one name that ties very well to Tom Brady, but also could be a good fit with Ben Johnson as well, depending on how those conversations go. But one of the things that we're definitely going to talk about today is just how much confidence does everybody have in the Brady effect? As it stands right now, we had our initial emotions when Tom Telesco was let go, and now we know Tom Brady's basically run the ship. So there's the initial emotions of it, and now since everything's kind of played out a little bit, how do we currently feel? We're definitely going to hit up the chat and just see what everybody's thinking. So I appreciate the chat, everybody rocking in here. I appreciate you guys, Robert Penny. I appreciate you pulling up. Dominic 5 in the building as well, man. Appreciate you coming through. Wherever you guys are watching, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, wherever you're at. Hit that like button, subscribe. James Little in the building as well. Appreciate you pulling up. Let's see, fellas, name your OC and DC if Ben Johnson is named the head coach. You know what? Let's do this, Severe. Appreciate the questions, James. Severe, what's your thoughts? Let's talk OC first. Let's think OC first, man. Who do you think, if we land Ben Johnson, who do you think you might bring in as OC?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Right now, they have I think Mark Brunell is their QB coach, and
I think so.
And then they have, I want to say they have JT Barrett on staff as well.
Is he
from Ohio State? I think he's like offensive one of the offenses. Like my assumption is that it will be one of the position coaches that are over there with the Lions right now. Where so you generally you kind of gravitate towards quarterbacks coach. Mark Brunell is their quarterbacks coach, but they could be any one of them. I know Ben Johnson started off as a tight ends coach. With him, he was elevated from tight ends coach to offensive coordinator. So. I think Mike LaFleur was as well. I believe Arthur Smith was as well, both with Tennessee. So, I mean, there's been a trend of tight end coaches that get elevated to the offensive coordinator position. Look at Frank Smith, who was our tight ends coach. He went over to the Dolphins. He's their offensive coordinator. So that seems to be the trend recently. So I'm not sure who the tight end coach is for the Lions, but I would kind of look in that direction. And then Chris is not going to like this name for defensive coordinator.
Here we go. We'll take a look at this.
There goes. Oh, yeah, JC Bear right there. Mark Brunell, Steve Hyden. I'm not familiar with Steve Hyden. Antoine Rondalell too. That's guys. He's well respected in the league. But for For defense coordinator.
Oh, you got Scotty Montgomery,
Mhm.
Ben Johnson, JT Barrett, like you were saying, assist quarterbacks coach Mark Brunell, quarterbacks coach, you got passing game corner Tanner Eggstrand, offensive line, Hank Fraley, that tight ends coach you're saying, Steve Hayden. So yeah, got some names if we talk about it a little bit. But Severe, you're saying DC?
Yeah, for DC, these guys work together with the Dolphins. He just recently got fired by the Bengals. Salute and around. Chris,
Yeah,
Chris don't like to hear that name. You don't like to hear that name. As a guy, look, he had a bad year this year with the Bengals, but he at one point he was one of the more respected defensive minds in the league. And they do have a familiarity with each other. So I'm not saying it's a lot, but there's some connective tissue there.
You're talking Bengals DC?
Yes.
Yeah. Chris, what's your thoughts on OC for the Lions?
Yeah, it's hard, man. Because to be honest, I've Ben's gonna probably want someone that kind of sees the field and sees the game like him. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it is someone like a Mark Brunell. I think it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough because honestly, I don't know. Because from my understanding, Ben Johnson currently runs, that offense over there. So he does the play design and all that stuff. So I'm not sure how much Mark has any say in any of that, just with him being, kind of a veteran in the game. So I'm not sure how much he leans on him. But I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Mark comes along. Or, I think, I know we're going to talk about general manager prospects as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody from that Tampa Bay Buccaneers staff comes over as well.
So no, I'm with you. I think the two guys that I would think would have a chance, because Ben Johnson wants to have the most seamless transition as possible.
Right, exactly.
Right. So he's going to want to come in that understand. He's going to want to compile a coaching staff that understands his process, understand his strategy, his mindset. I could see Mark Brunell kind of being one of those, this Tanner Eggstrand guy. I think his passing game coordinator, I think that would be, you look at just how Ben Johnson's offense operates, right? There's a lot of moving parts to it. He does a very good job of getting guys, the amount of times that he can get JMO the ball, whether it be through a reverse and an end around, taking him deep, just all the different nuances in his offense. You look at, I think, what was it, a couple of weeks ago where they ran that hook and ladder, basically?
Yeah.
All the nuances within his offense. I think he's going to want to bring in somebody that has a good grasp and understanding of it. So if you take into consideration, one, who he'd want to bring in, two, once he's gone, who does Dan Campbell elevate? Does he hire within as an offensive coordinator, or does he bring somebody on the outskirts to kind of come in? And so I do think Mark Brunell, this Tanner Eggstrand, as well as JT Barrett, assistance quarterback coach, I think those are the three guys you kind of take a look at and go, you know what? He could probably be like, hey, come on over with me. And who would be willing to come over with him and at the same time build an offense from the ground up? Some of these guys might want to stay with the Lions because they understand the personnel. They know the guys that they have in the building, and they know that they can grow off of them. So, this Tanner Eggstrand, passing game coordinator.
And with Tanner, he actually has some ties to Michigan, so, just thinking about, he has ties. He was on the coaching staff.
Got it.
It was probably, I think it was, like 18, 19. I mean, it was a while ago, but, again, and just thinking the Tom Brady effect, that John Spytek effect, those Michigan guys. So, there could be a lot of connections there.
Yeah. And real quick, James, I appreciate the question. We're just kind of trying to answer it for you, but I don't honestly, Severe, you named the Bengals, DC. I haven't done enough digging yet on the defense coordinators out there and who would kind of match up with Ben Johnson. So I'm not going to throw a name out there because I don't know 100%. To be honest with you, I got to do a little more research. But at the same time, I want to wait for the bomb to drop that we hired a head coach. Yeah. Once we hire that head coach, then I'm going to start doing a ton of research as to who I think could they bring in, because at the same time, it's also trying to understand how does that defensive coordinator match with our existing personnel on this roster.
That's key.
You know what I'm saying? Like, who do you build off of? Because we have, I think it's 27, 28 free agents that we need to potentially bring in. You know, we got to re-sign a ton of people. We got a lot of salary cap, but man, that salary cap goes quick. When you want to sign some big names. So, you know, and we might find ourselves extending Max Crosby too, because he's got no more guaranteed money. So he might want to get locked up again and extend his contract. So I'm going to dive more into names, but because Ben Johnson is our top head coaching prospect, I could see us looking at this Lions organization, this coaching staff, and going, okay, who can we pick from this organization that's going to give Ben Johnson the most seamless transition to building his offense and his culture? Again, I'd look at this Tanner Eckstrain. This JT Barrett could be assistant quarterback coach. You got to prep your next quarterback. He kind of understands what you want, but it's also understanding who's Ben Campbell want to elevate to that new position if Ben Johnson leaves. So, but man, James, always good seeing you. I appreciate the question. The Truth 91, appreciate you coming in the building, man. Troy Gill, appreciate you pulling up as well. Unfazed, always good seeing you. Fear Raider, appreciate you pulling up. Sat Town, Raider Mike, cheers, brother. Appreciate you coming up. And then you got Eric Raider Hater, man, always good in the building. Good seeing you. Let's see who else is in here. Lord Rachitas in the building. What's happening? Appreciate you pulling up. Harvey Greens. I'm just gonna call you Harvey, man. I ain't checking that last name. I'm gonna call you Harvey, man. You Harvey in our book. Let's go. A little bit of jiu-jitsu in the building, verbal in the building. Appreciate you. Let's go. Bears fans will be on suicide watch if we get Ben Johnson. You know what? I dropped a video, and I think there's a good chance that they could land McCarthy. I'm not gonna lie. I dropped a video on it. They might be good with McCarthy, but I do think that they're going to shoot their shot at Ben Johnson without question. John Fallon, appreciate you pulling up, man. Yeah. Let's see.
Isn't that what's his name's first destination too? Pete Carroll. Isn't that kind of where he
interviewed?
Yeah.
Which, you know, like if Pete Carroll, and it wouldn't be that bad of a spot, right? Pete Carroll can kind of turn that thing around in a short stint and be like, hey, put that on my on my belt, that I was able to kind of help this thing, move in the right direction. That would work out. Let's pull us back up to the big screen. The Burpee Reaper, man. What's up? What's happening? Appreciate you pulling up. Huey P, always good, man. Got Mark in the building as well. Let the epic begin in the house as well. Appreciate you pulling up. SoCal Sal, man. You always showing love, man. Appreciate you. Let's go. Shad Owen as well. Yeah, man, we hitting it a little early today, man, but it's good, man. It's good seeing what you pulling up with you guys. So appreciate everyone in the building. Again, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Got Chris Protect the Show podcast. To my left, I got the Severe Raider. I'm Real Talk Raider Nation, 805 Raider, man. We're just trying to hit you guys a little bit of update. We're going to talk about some topics, but I appreciate all you guys pulling up. First topic we going to hit you guys with is the confidence level. So now that everything's been kind of ironed out, right? We now know, and real quick, Freddie Chavez, man, I appreciate you pulling up as well. Let's see, let me pull this back up. So confidence level of the Tom Brady effect. I'm going to ask this to the chat, man. So you guys, make sure you guys rate it 1 to 10. 1 being Tom Brady's trash, and I hate it. 10 being Tom Brady is going to make the moves to get us to the promised land to a Super Bowl. So rate it 1 to 10. Let me know in the chat. But obviously, everybody had their initial opinions on Tom Brady, right? We still thought Mark Davis was going to have a lot of input. We knew that Tom Telesco, at least we thought, we thought that he was going to have a little more a say and input moving forward, because he wasn't chopped like AP was in the beginning, but we let him go. But now we're seeing reports are coming out. The only reason why Ben Johnson was going to come over and actually interview with the Raiders was because of Tom Brady. And so the question is, one, what was your initial thoughts of Tom Brady? But now, has that thought changed a little bit now with the moving pieces? And so we got a lot of people. Again, what's your confidence level of the Tom Brady effect? Rate 1 to 10. We got people. Troy Gill, you're saying 8 or 10. 10. Oh, man, you think he's going to take us to the promised land. I feel you. All right. Let's go epic. Let the epic begin. You got 8. Let's see. Dominic 5. You got 9. Huey P 7. Verbal, you got 7. Let's see. Omar Jackson, appreciate you pulling up. You got 10. Chad Owen, I'm guessing you're giving Mark Davis a 3. I feel you. All right, that's what I think what you're doing. But yeah, guys, let us know. Rate it 1 to 10. What's your thoughts? Chris, I'm gonna throw it to you, man. I know you want to kind of jump on this topic.
Yeah. I think
let it roll.
Yeah, I think before I was at like a 5, because again, Tom Brady's the GOAT, very, can sling the ball, with the best of them. But to me, that didn't necessarily correlate with being able to make the best front office moves and make the best, decisions from that standpoint. However, as I'm listening more to kind of what's going on, someone in the comments said, I mean, which is very true, without Tom Brady, we're probably not even getting Ben Johnson to sit down with us. And then I thought about it even more. It's like, okay, why would someone like Tom Brady, or why would Ben Johnson want to, interview with us? I mean, yeah, it's cool that Tom Brady's in the building, but that has nothing to really do with the team that I'm going to be coaching, with the personnel and all that. But then you think like, man, if I am an offensive minded coach, how next level could it be if I get to collab with Tom Brady every day and cook up some stuff, from an offensive standpoint? Because I think Tom is going to be there to help. I don't think he's just going to be like a true owner just sitting in. Like, I think he's going to, want to help and cook up with whoever our coach is. And you think those two guys strategizing at a table, looking at film together, that actually is pretty amazing when you think about, the opportunity that could be for Ben. So I didn't think all that before. More or less I was just like, man, Tom's never done this before. I think we're giving him too much credit. So I will say I'm at it like a 7 now. So I went from like a 5 to 7, because still, he has to show, I want to see him complete the task, get Ben Johnson signed. If he does that, then I'll already be impressed.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll say one thing, and then I'll Severe, I'll throw it to you. You got John Fallon at an 8, Sattown, Rager Mike, you're at a 9, Raider Mac, you're at a 6, Freddie Chavez, you're at an 8. Raider Mac, I'll say one thing, no hype until whoever's in the building. I'm with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what's interesting, and Lord Rachitas, you had a 7.5. I like that little over-under play. I like that. And Chris knows a lot about that. Parlay King over there.
King.
But my thing is that, look, here's my thing, is a lot has to do with the fact that, Tom Brady, if it wasn't for Tom Brady, then yeah, maybe we don't get that interview, and so you got to give him the credit. And based on what I think a lot of the nation is saying, Chris, what you said is, man, this might be the first time that we can trust the process a little bit.
True.
Back in the day, man, we could never trust the process. Everybody wanted to say trust the process, but man, the people that were leading the ship, you just couldn't trust it. And the thing is this giving us just a little hope that we now can potentially trust the process, which is very interesting. But Severe, man, what's your confidence level? We got a lot of people giving us 7s, 8s, man, people throwing 10s. What's your confidence level at this point in the way it's been playing out?
Yeah, man, I'm still like a 7. But the thing is, like,
you're that high.
I know, because people, I think people, when we first brought on Tom Brady, I was one of the first people that supported the hire, or not the hire, but supported bringing him into the organization under specific parameters. if Tom Brady is in those specific parameters, I'm good with that. Like Tom Brady should serve two functions: a recruiter and a closer. And it's looking like he's in that role. As long as he's in that role, I'm good with it. But I don't want Tom Brady out here. Oh, I'm studying college coordinators, and there's this quarterbacks coach at Northwestern, and I think like that's not his role. He's never done that before. But as a guy that's a recruiter and a closer, yo, I'm good with that. And I said it before. This is the role that Magic Johnson served. As soon as we slipped up with Cliff Kingsbury, Magic Johnson probably ain't never heard of Cliff Kingsbury. He probably could have picked Cliff Kingsbury out of a lineup. He ain't never seen this man before. All he knows is that, yo, this is the dude we want as our offensive coordinator. Magic, get on FaceTime. He probably didn't know Cliff Kingsbury. Anybody could have picked up Cliff Kingsbury phone. Josh McDaniels could have picked up his phone. He'd be like, hey, Cliff, I need you over here with the commanders, man. Like, he wouldn't have known. But all Magic Johnson does is close the deal. That's what he's been doing. He sat at the hip of Jerry Buss, rather, and Jerry West. You know, for that matter, probably the greatest sports owner of all time, and probably the greatest executive of all time. He learned that he was in those with both of those guys, learning under them. Like he knew in his mind what he wanted to do. So. And as long as he's in that role, I'm good with that. But I don't want him out here like trying to figure out, oh, let me go out there. Hey, yo, what? We give you a list of candidates. You get these guys in the door and you close the show. That's what I want Tom Brady doing. As long as Tom Brady's doing that, I'm good with it.
Yeah, okay. So I am with you. And here's my thing is, I'm not getting my hopes up, right?
Yeah.
Us Raider fans, we got PTSD for a reason.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And so the hope is that, yes, he comes in and he can make a difference. He can change the culture. But here's the thing. That initial, it's like that, it's like the relationship that's early, right? It's the honeymoon phase. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, because this is Tom Brady's first stint in being part of ownership and being involved in an organization. And because we all know he is the GOAT. He is the greatest to play the quarterback position. I'm sorry. He is, no matter what fan you are. He is. And the thing is that we don't know how that truly transitions. Right. We got the first crack at Ben Johnson. We don't get another crack at him until I think either he loses in the playoffs, or I think there's a window. If he does make it to the Super Bowl, there's a window between that last playoff game and the Super Bowl that you can bring him in to interview him again. And it remains to be seen. So Severe, I'm kind of in that. I'm gonna play that over under. I'm kind of in that 6.5. Okay, I'm gonna play that over under because look, it all seems fine and well, but there really isn't a really crazy attractive organization that we're battling with at this point. We're going up against the Bears. I'm not too sure how many people want to coach underneath the Bears, right? Then you got the Jags, which you got basically an owner that's saying, side note, GM, I'll cut your ass real quick if I need to. That's just the way you organize that and play yourself. That's a little interesting. That's a little rough. Yeah. So it's not like we're going against some big hitter organizations. I thought the Patriots were the biggest threat, and they got Vrabel, which is cool. All right, you get Vrabel, more power to you. But for me, I'm just like I'm cautiously optimistic. I like the moves so far. I love the fact that you can get people in the building. But Severe, to your point, you better close. And once you close, the work ain't done.
Oh, no.
We better hope to see that you chose the right person, that you saw it right. Everybody knew that Ben Johnson is the biggest hype. Then let's prove that the hype is real. And the only reason that the hype is going to be real, can prove that it's real, is if you make your ass to the playoffs and then continue on and potentially take us to the promised land. And so I think showing that he can land it is great. But, man, he's got more work to do once we do land it to show that you also made the right choice, because there's a lot of talk, a lot of people talking about Pete Carroll and changing the culture. Shout out to, I think there was Arnie Garza. What's up, man? You're saying Ben Johnson's a young creative play caller and Pete Carroll's a culture builder experience and head coach. Like, which one do you want? Do you want the young question mark that shows a lot of promise, or do you want the guy that's actually done it before and can change his culture? So that is a big question. I appreciate the the comment said, wait, Severe said 7. I thought he was going to go say -2.
I did too. I ain't gonna lie. I thought Severe was gonna be low. Thought he was gonna be lower.
I'm telling you, but hey, Severe, he's cautiously optimistic, I think, with a lot of us. But Severe, to your point, man, you said you want him. You like the hire as long as the hire, you know, his responsibility is kind of is structured in the right way. You know what I'm saying? And so
as soon as I saw we brought on Jed Hughes, I was like, cool. I was like, all right, cool. I can trust this some more. And Tom Brady ain't out here looking through, like, you know, he ain't watching college tape. Hey, we got a search firm. They've had success before doing this. They're going to identify the candidates. We get them in the door. I mean, Tom Brady recruit them. Tom Brady helps close them. I'm cool with that, but I don't want him out here. You know, hey, I got 5. Hey, Mark, I got a list of 5 guys here. You know, it's like,
I think he will, but that's the thing, though. I think just Tom being who he is, such a competitor. I think he's gonna be trying to dibble and dabble and stuff like that. I just think that's his nature, to be honest. I got a feeling he has a little bit of a control freak, you know, especially if things start going bad and we're not winning. I think he's gonna want to roll up his sleeves and put his stamp on some things.
Who's that you talking about?
Brady. I think Brady will.
Brady?
Honestly,
I'll be the first one there, rolling them sleeves back down. Hey, put that cuff link right back on, brother. Put that cuff link right back on. Just passing that coin.
See Severe's hands just catch the screen and be like, bro,
like,
you roll them back down, big dog.
Like, man, you don't want to get those manicured fingers dirty, man. You retired for a reason, Tom.
They shot to Sacramento Athletics of Las Vegas, man, in the building. I appreciate you. He says, if we didn't have Tom, we would likely be looking at Adam Gase for head coach, Todd Downing as OC, Dave Campo as DC, Gruden as GM. Like, you know, like, yeah, like you can't deny that. You know, you can have an opinion whether or not you think that's true, but you can't deny it, because if we had Tom in the building, depending on our Telesco, I guess that is, things could have went very differently, you know. And you got to give Tom Brady credit. You got that not only did you get an interview, you got the first interview, which is good. You got the first interview, so you got the first impression. We'll see kind of how first impressions work out with Tom Brady. And so, but a lot of remains to be seen. A lot of guessing game.
That's a good comment right there, because we're known for the retreads, man. We're known for them, man. I used to hate the day. Y'all remember back in Al Davis used to always bring in what was his name, that coach for the Cardinals at one point, in the Vikings, the black dude. I forgot his name, man.
Talking about Denny Green?
Yeah, we used to always bring him in for an interview. Every head coach, I'm like, man.
No, what? Because him, it was him and Fossil.
Fossil, yes,
Fossil,
They were begging. They were begging to be the Raiders coach, and Al wouldn't hire him. They were begging, like, yo, Al, I got you, dog. Every time we fire somebody, they'd be on the phone. Al,
always their name.
Look at you, dog. I'm telling you, I got you, brother.
Of it, like, man. But the thing is, I would only bring them in just to like interview them and like try to get information from them, and then I'm just like, but yeah, Denny Green, I ain't want no parts of Denny Green, man. I ain't want no parts of it.
No, thank you.
He was who you thought he was.
Yeah.
You're saying important, Omar Jackson, important to remember. Ben's only 38. My guess is that he's an odd TB. Mom used to say, you know, use what you got. 100%. I mean, anybody would be in awe of Tom Brady, but we'll just see kind of how Ben Johnson's just mindset is, his attitude. I mean, he is the hot commodity right now, and being the hot commodity in the NFL, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna put you on some sort of pedestal. So we'll see how that works out. But if he is, you know, now that we're saying and reports coming out that he's open to the Las Vegas job because of Tom Brady, that kind of tells me that he's got a little bit of maybe he does. It's humbling himself just a little bit and being like, look, I'm down to follow a little bit of greatness. You know what I'm saying? And so, which is good. Good to see Space Beast in the building. I appreciate you pulling up, man. Good seeing you. Got a lot of people in the building. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe wherever you are at. Got Protect the Show podcast, The Severe Raider. I'm 805 Raider, Real Talk Raider Nation. And guys, I'm just letting you know.
We got another 805 Raider in the building.
We got another 805 in the house.
Hey, there we go, baby.
Yeah,
805 Raider, man. Hey, Raider Dan, let me know where you from. Let me know what city you at.
Started click, man. The 805,
805 squad.
It's what it is.
Gang.
Like, man,
I'm gonna have to start doing memberships and just, be in the 805 gang a little bit. I like it. But yeah, appreciate everybody in the chat. Dre for show, man. Can't pass you up. Appreciate you. You're saying Tom is a closer. We do our research and bring them in, and Tom Brady closes the deal. 100%. Yeah, close it. That's what he's here for. All right. Severe to your point. Dirk Zink in the build, and I want Johnson over Carroll. Yeah, I think it's like, Johnson, I definitely think is 1A, right?
Yeah,
without question. But I think there's a tier though, and I'm gonna shoot you. I'm passing on to you guys, but I think there's a tier, right? There's the tier of new young head coaches, but then there's the tier of the veterans.
Yeah,
and so the guys that have done it before, and so I'll shoot this question out, and then we'll go to the next topic real quick. Is obviously with the young guys, I think everybody's saying Ben Johnson, but if there's a veteran out there, what's that veteran? If we go that route, what's that veteran that you want? So Chris, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, to be honest, I've always been a fan of Pete Carroll, to be quite honest. I think he's someone that could bring some stability. He knows what it looks like. He built a great team, over there in Seattle. But he also is a guy who let his coaches coach. He didn't never trying to overstep, and he was a motivator, players coach. You really can't find anyone to say anything bad about the guy for the most part. So definitely him. I would say out of some of the other guys, I'll tell you who I don't want. I don't want the defensive coordinator from the Broncos who
Vance Joseph.
Yeah, I definitely don't want him. I wouldn't want like a Mike McCarthy, but I know he wouldn't come anyway. But yeah, if I had to go a veteran, I think Pete Carroll would just he'd probably be the only one on the list, to be quite honest. I can't see myself being interested in any other quote unquote retreads or anything like that.
Yeah, Severe, man. You're a veteran. Who you got?
I mean, if it's realistic, my realistic veteran, I am going with. I'm intrigued with Brian Flores. I'm intrigued with Brian Flores.
I'm not mad at that.
He's not a super veteran, but I'm kind of intrigued. I know he had some issues before in Miami, kind of being a disciplinarian, but from what the players, what they say about him with Minnesota, like they absolutely love the guy. And then he spent some time under Mike Tomlin, and I think that helped him a little bit. And then my other one is Mike Tomlin. If we can make that, I know I doubt if it happens. I think Mike Tomlin squashed the rumors himself. I think he posted on Twitter, it's like, so stop reaching out to me. So I doubt if it happens. But if there was a possibility, oh my God, like Mike Tomlin, he probably jumps to the top of my list. Man. And Mike Tomlin is still relatively young. Mike Tomlin, he thinks about, for as long as he's been around, he's only 52 years old. That means Mike Tomlin can coach for 20 more years and still be younger than Pete Carroll. Right? And still be younger than Pete Carroll. 20. It's 2 decades, bro.
Just so you know, I'm going to begin.
Yeah, old I'll be in 20 years. And he'll still be younger than Pete Carroll.
Man, the next thing I'm getting, guys, I'm going to go next level. I'm going to be getting one of them soundboards. So we're going to have some sound effects added to this very shortly. I got to with all of the Severe's takes. 805 Raider Dan Oxnard. All right, man. I'll say real quick. I know I coached at Cameron High School under Jack Willard, so I know he's not the head coach anymore. Nate Anderson, which is the varsity head coach, he's a young kid. I actually coached him as a young kid and all the way up through high school. And so I know that very well. But yeah, I coached at Cameron High School, so I know where you at. And SoCal Sal, man, you're to 805 SoCal. Let me know where you at. Where you from? John Fallon, appreciate you in the building. And so let's go. Let's say what's up to Black and Silver Blitz. What's happening, man? Appreciate you coming through. Mutation X2, you're saying, did you guys hear the latest from Ian Rappaport? What is the latest, man? It's been news has been dropping left and right. Yeah. But I appreciate the super chat, Big Dog. Remember, I'm gonna get some sound effects here pretty soon, man. A lot of people, you guys always hit some super chats, and I gotta make sure that
one thing I saw is so it looks like I guess we're interviewing the assistant GM from the Chargers for the GM position.
Again?
Are we?
Yeah. Chad Alexander. He was requested to interview. So I don't know.
I'm thinking just more intel. You know, to me, I feel like the Vance Joseph interview as well as the Spagnuolo interview, even though
that's a good point. That's a good point.
I like Spagnuolo as much as a lot of people feel like he's more of a DC than a head coach, which I feel you on that. I'm not going to argue that, but I think that Spagnuolo, you just look at his history. Yes, a tough stint as a head coach, but that was 11 years ago or something like that.
A lot of knowledge. He has a lot of knowledge.
You got to beat somebody. And if somebody knows Andy Reid better than anybody else in this league, it's Spagnuolo. And so, you know, I'm just saying, again, why not consider him? If you miss on Ben Johnson, if you miss on a couple, you know, I'm still a Todd Monken guy. I wouldn't mind kind of giving Todd Monken an interview and just kind of see what he's got to say. Because, again, I do like the offensive mindset. But if you got to move veteran and Pete Carroll isn't available, stuff like that, Tomlin stays over with the Steelers, man, bringing someone that has at least the most intel on Andy Reid, because we got to beat him. You know what I'm saying? And so the Mutation X2, man, I appreciate the super chat. But I appreciate everybody else pulling up in the building as well, man. Big 183. Good seeing you. Always good seeing you pull up. Let's go Raider Mag. You're saying you used to go to the Raiders training camp. All right, man. Are you let me know if you're from Oxnard or that area. But let's do this. All right. So we just talked about rank it 1 to 10, just our confidence level with Tom Brady. Severe, you're going to like this one. All right. Reports have come out that Tom Telesco did not call to trade up with the Commanders to potentially snag Jaden Daniels. I understand that, look, Telesco's come and gone. I get it. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of people were still trying to figure out, because I'll tell you, if Tom Brady does not land some of these top prospects, Ben Johnson or maybe Pete Carroll goes off to the Bears and now we're left at bottom of the barrel, like there's going to be a lot of question marks. And so, Severe, I'm going to give you the floor, man. You just let me know how you feel about Tom Telesco not calling the Commanders for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, the thing is just organizational malpractice, man. That's just like dereliction of duty. It was laziness, or what it was. But even if you don't think you have the possibility of trading up, or you don't think they'll really take any offers you take seriously, still make the call and see. You still make the call and see, like, know what? Hey, what would it take for us to get up there? If they say something stupid, then you counter with something stupid. And if they're unwilling to move off of whatever they said, like, you know what? Hey, appreciate you taking my call, and you move on. Yeah. But you make the effort, right? You already know, like, your head coach has given you, your head coach at that time has given you a distinct advantage because he has a personal relationship with this player. So he knows him like better than anybody, in the league, because he's actually coached there with them, recruited them, all that stuff. So you know that he knows the kind of guy that he is and what he can be at the next level. And if he's telling you, yo, this is the guy I want, the guy is in your locker room at the end of the season, like essentially saying, like, this is where I want to be. Like, at the very least, you go up there and you try to get him. And the fact that he didn't, like I said, a lot of people have been throwing this around. I kind of feel the same way. Like, they did not put Antonio Pierce in the situation where he could succeed. I mean, it's just plain and simple. Yeah. Like, you have an opportunity, and we see what Jaden is doing right now. We see what he's done all year. We see what he just did in the playoffs. and he has the opportunity, if he goes up there and beats the Lions, bro, somebody need to break Tom Telesco's kneecaps, right? If he goes up there, somebody needs to go, like, really, because it's like, you know, and I don't think the Commanders were going to move off, as I said, because they see what kind of player he is as well. You know, a lot of people had him as the QB1. But for them not even to make the call, man, I think that's just disgraceful. And it goes to show you, you know, hey, that's why you unemployed right now too. You thought you were setting Antonio Pierce up, but congratulations, you played yourself.
Hey, Chris, man, what's your thoughts? Anything? I mean, I think Severe just kind of said it for us, but go for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, he said a whole lot, man. I think you know, it's crazy. Like it's almost hard to believe, honestly, that he didn't at least make the call. Now, when I think about Telesco, you know, just kind of how conservative he is, you know, am I surprised? You know, that he wasn't like trying to be aggressive in trading up. Absolutely, I'm not surprised. But the fact that he didn't make the call to even find out what the price was is just ridiculous. You know, at least make the call. You know, me, I'm probably in a minority of, you know, I still even now am okay with us not mortgaging the future to get Jaden. As good as he is, I still like how our draft kind of landed. So I'm probably in the minority, but you know, the fact that he didn't make the call is just ridiculous. And just watching Jaden play, it's just like, man, we could have had him and we didn't even make a call for him. That's just, you know, that's just crazy. That's crazy to me.
I mean, it's crazy. You definitely make the call, right? Just for the feeler, but yes, you're going to mortgage the absolute future. We all know what Tom Telesco's MO was. He's not going to trade up. He only traded up, I think, once, you know, when he was with the Chargers. And so, but yeah, not to just call. That's crazy. Well,
crazy.
Remains to be seen just kind of how true reports are. You know what I'm saying?
At least bluff, you know, like, I mean, like you got to play chess at that point. You know, you got to, you know, put up smoke screens and, you know, make teams think you want this and that. Like, at least play the game, you know, if nothing else.
I'm telling you, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. That's for damn sure. Let's go, Drew. So you said this. I think you're saying the report was they asked Spy Tech for a second interview. I did see that, which is huge. That's good. Makes sense. A lot of connections with Tom Brady and his past and everything, and so that's very interesting. So let's see real quick. John Fountain, you said since you know O lineman, I try to know O lineman sometimes. If we keep the pick at 6, what's the best one we could take there? Since it sounds like we might get Hendon Hooker from Detroit. I'm not sure if we'll get Hendon Hooker. I do think I said this on a I think one of our lives a couple weeks ago that if we could have an advantage over a team, you know, prior to the Tom Telesco firing, if we had advantage, maybe we could package Hendon Hooker and tell Ben Johnson we'll bring him over to kind of help with the transition of his offense. But look, the two guys that I really like is I like Will Campbell, but I'm starting to look at Kelvin Banks out of Texas. And again, I'm going to do more research, but I'm a big build in the trenches guy. I really am. And if we can bring in a top offensive lineman at 6, I wouldn't be mad at it if we didn't get like a McMillan, the receiver out of Arizona, or if Cam Ward didn't drop. You know, then I'd say at that point, you know, as much as, and it's also taking into consideration what you can access in free agency, right? You got to play that game of what's available in free agency that you want to take a shot at and maybe throw a big price tag at, but what can you get in versus the draft? And so, but those are Kelvin Banks and Will Campbell. Those are my two guys that I'm really taking a look at. The one kid, I think it's Wyatt Millam out of West Virginia. A lot of people are talking about him. I haven't seen too much about him, and so I'm going to definitely do some research. But, guys, just so you guys know, we're going to try to break down some college film on this channel when we do more lives. We're going to try to break down some college film. I think what would be really cool is taking some segments and just honing in on one position, the running back position, compare what's available in college coming out of the draft, whether it be early rounds or late rounds, and what's compared to what we can get through free agency. We'll definitely do those comparisons and kind of break it down and break down film like we do throughout the season. So it'll be fun, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up for sure. So, and so
with Hendon Hooker, how do you guys feel? You know, if Ben says, "Hey, you know, I've seen him. You know, he's, you know, I've been able to coach him a little bit. I want to bring him over here, give him a shot to compete." And then we, you know, do you know, Will Campbell or someone, or, you know, kind of focus on the trenches in early in the draft. How would you guys feel about that? I haven't seen enough of Hendon, you know, of course, in the NFL level, you know, saw him a little bit in preseason. Can't say I was super impressed, but do you think that you would I guess trust Ben Johnson because he had a chance to see him behind the scenes? What's your thoughts there?
Severe, I'll let you go for it.
Yeah, man. At that point, you got to trust Ben Johnson, right? He's been there with the guy 2 years now. They obviously they took a chance on him for a reason, and that was before they signed Jared Goff to an extension. So no, it was a possibility that if they don't come to terms with Jared Goff, or if Jared Goff, you know, his production falls off a cliff, that they're grooming Hendon Hooker to be the guy. So obviously they saw something in him. He's a guy that was on a Heisman Trophy pace before he had that devastating knee injury. He's a little bit on the older side. I think he's about the same age as Aiden. I think got drafted like a little bit older, because all those COVID quarterbacks are a little bit older. So you know, he should already have some level of maturity. And if Ben Johnson is willing to sign off on him, I'm good with that, especially considering that he'll already have, you know, intimate knowledge of that system, and he'll be able to hit the ground running. So that, you know, we will still need a veteran, of course, to kind of to help along. But he's a guy that he should know the system. He'll be able to teach it as well.
Yeah.
My only thoughts with Hendon Hooker is, and Severe, it might repeat a little bit what you just said, is you bring him in just to help the quarterback room. You know, he's been in that system now for 2 years. He understands Ben Johnson. He understands what the quarterback wants to do. One of the biggest things that you can have is a reliable backup quarterback that can come in, that knows your system, and they can go ahead and run it in an emergency type of situation, right? You're up 24-10 and you just need to get out of the third or fourth quarter. You just need a guy that can sustain a lead or kind of help you out, win a game or two when a quarterback goes down. And so maybe that is the guy. A lot of people talked about Teddy Bridgewater coming in late, but he's the third quarterback on that roster. And so I think it's more emergency type quarterback. You bring him in because you need a third quarterback on the roster. It's like us bringing in Desmond Ridder, you know, or signing Carson Bradley from the practice squad up to our roster. It's not because he's going to play. It's just in case someone goes down. So I don't know.
With Hooker, though, I mean, do we just look at him as like a veteran, or do you look at him as someone with potential that can actually lead a team, or are you already kind of putting him in that glorified backup type of role?
I put him in the backup role as it stands right now. I still think if you bring Hendon Hooker over, you get your quarterback through the draft.
Gotcha.
You know, like if something falls, if Cam Ward falls, I'd take Cam Ward at 6.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? If Cam Ward doesn't fall, I think I still think that you get someone like a McMillan. You maybe get an offensive lineman. A lot of people are high on the Michigan cornerback, which I wouldn't be mad at. We all know Jack Jones. His days are somewhat numbered because of just how he's played all season. So maybe you take a stab at a quarterback in the second or third round. I think a lot of people are now kind of moving Jackson Dart a little bit up on their draft. That's what I'm seeing just on kind of some reports that some GMs are becoming a little more high on Jackson Dart. Because you know what?
Will Levis. There's always that guy. There's always that guy that they shoot up every year.
But here's my thing, though, is that I think that Jackson Dart is moving up because I do think that Shedeur Sanders. I mean, there's always guys that fall, and I think Shedeur Sanders is going to fall. Everybody was like, "Oh, #1 draft pick." He might fall. Not sure how far, but I think there's a chance that he might fall in the draft. And you
He ain't
always
gonna
have those
fall past the
surprises.
Cowboys.
I'm telling you. I hope it happens. I hope it happens. Because then the Cowboys can continue to be just a laughing stock. I'd love to see it. So Miguel, man, what's happening? Appreciate you pulling up. And so
go on, Miguel.
Remember, guys, we got a ton of people in the building. Comments are flying. I'm trying to catch up with you guys. Make sure you guys hit that hashtag Raiders and then your comment. I'm going to try to bring it up. It'll catch my eye if you're answering one of the questions. But I appreciate everybody in the building. One thing, and we're going to kind of, not going to take too long on this one, but real quick, just want to ask everybody in the chat. We got games this weekend. Do you want the Lions to win or lose this weekend? What are you guys rooting for? Do you want the Lions to win or lose this weekend? Because obviously, once he loses, then he can find himself potentially coming in for that second interview, and we'll kind of see how it moves. But Severe, I'm gonna hand to you first.
Yeah, man. My original Super Bowl pick. What I wanted to see was the Ravens and the Lions. I want take care of your business, JD5. Show Chris we should have traded up. Show Chris we should have traded up. I want him to look directly at the screen after he throws a game-winning touchdown. Like I told you, I told you. But yeah, man, I just think that I just think that what Jaden is doing is special. And he's doing it with he's throwing it to Monty Brown and Olamide Zacchaeus,
Come on, man. Come on. Don't act like he ain't got Scary Terry over there.
Come
on, man. Come on, man.
Look.
You act like he got bums.
He got Zach Ertz is 80 years old. Zach Ertz, he's like
that stiff arm by Zach Ertz was crazy.
Look, this last game, he led them in pass and he was their leading rusher. He's doing it all by himself. So against Todd Bowles, who's a guy that's who's a very good defensive mind, who can really confuse you. You see what he did to Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. He's a guy he's gonna give you some issues. And Jaden was able to solve all of those riddles that were thrown at him to the tune of leading him down there. I don't think anybody everybody that that's a Commanders fan. As soon as he got the ball, I think they were like, "Oh yeah, we about to win this game. We about to win it." Not only and his clock management, his clock management as a quarterback was great as well. Once they got the ball back, it was over 4 minutes left. They never gave the Bucks another real shot at getting the ball
again.
That's how you do it.
So
that's how you do it, man. So I just like the story. Last year my guy CJ, he won one playoff game, then he was one and done. And I'm hoping Jaden is not the same for Jaden, and that way we get some kind of resolution sooner. We get Ben Johnson in the building if he's going to be the guy, and we get our offseason started right.
All right, Chris, man, what's your thoughts? You want them winning or losing this weekend?
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, to be all the way honest, so I respect the city of Detroit. I respect, I got a lot of friends that are Lions fans, and it says something about a fan base that just goes through a lot of hardships. I can relate to them. We can relate to them being Raiders fans. So at the end of the day, for the city, I would love to see them, potentially get to go to the Super Bowl and win it. But it's all about the Raiders right now. So, I'm tired of the Raiders always having to wait and get our guy at the very end. Ben Johnson, go ahead and lose this game so we can go ahead and get this contract signed and let that ink dry. And then, it is what it is.
So here's my thought, man. Gus Smoke, appreciate you pulling up. Dixon, what's up, man? What's happening? We also got Red Ray, man. Appreciate you pulling up.
Red Ray.
Raider Ray, man. Hey guys, make sure you guys go hit up Raider Ray, man. I know I saw you and Pharaoh on, man. Big shout out to you. Make sure you guys go and show some support. Another content creator, man. Here's my thought. Troy Gill, you're saying Lions win. Here's my thing. I want Lions to go and win the Super Bowl. I don't want Ben Johnson to make it to a Super Bowl and lose. I don't want no reason for him to think that he might have to go back and have some unfinished business. I don't think it'll happen. I'm just saying.
Unfinished business.
I don't want no unfinished business talk like you had last year.
I
finish your goddamn business, win the Super Bowl.
I do feel that. That's a good point.
But more importantly, though, I would love for him to have the experience of every single step of the way.
That's a good point, too.
Experience that he could bring along with him, right? That's what I would love to see, is that he gets to, the final round of the playoffs. He wins. He feels that he goes through the whole process. You go through those 2 weeks of preparation for the Super Bowl. You go into the Super Bowl. You're under those lights. You feel what it feels like to kind of right before kickoff, in that transition of emotions of understanding what those big lights feel like. But then now you got to get in a game mode. And I want to see, just a good game. I want to see just kind of how do you conduct yourself under the limelights,
Good point.
And so I'd love to see him go win himself a Super Bowl so he comes over here and is well prepared for the journey that we want him to take us on. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I would love to see is win it all. So, Lions money line all day long, Chris. Lions money line all day long. That's it for the next 3 weeks. You know
I think the Lions take it. But I'm pulling for the Commanders. And if we want Ben Johnson to be prepared for what the Raiders do, I mean, after he won 8 games, bro, he was already ready. He's already ready.
Else is a bonus. Everything else is an added bonus.
Like, what? You won 8 games? Like, bro, that's like, man, that's all the practice. Like, after he passed, once he won 9, he's in territory we ain't seen for. Like, so yeah, man. So
you win 9 games as a Raider coach. You going down as a GOAT. Yeah, you one of the top 5 coaches ever.
They putting you in they putting the statue in front of Allegiant.
Man. You see how much I love Hugh Jackson, and he only got us 8 wins. In my mind, Hugh Jackson he's one of my favorite, man.
Exactly. That's we reminisce about remember the years we went 8-8. Oh
yeah, man. Hugh Jackson had his goal.
Some years.
That was my guy, man.
Man.
No, but you know what, guys? This is what I'm saying. Like Space Beach saying, "Yep, Lions win." M85, you're saying, but a third time with golf, I see Johnson bailing to it. I agree. I think he's leading either way. I just don't want any reasons why he would think I gotta come back. Again, I don't think it'll happen at all. But we just don't need no reasons. You know what I'm saying? And so,
but you know what? Last year though, I think he had a bad showing in that last playoff game. That's what it was.
Yeah. Hey, Severe, make sure you get out here. I know you got a hard stop. Chris will still rock for just a little bit, but hey, everybody, make sure you guys go hit that like button. Go hit up Severe, the Severe Raider. Go hit that channel, man, and we're gonna hit you guys on the next one with Severe. So, Severe, go do your thing, man. Appreciate you,
my guy. Until next time.
To the chat, man. Appreciate y'all having me on, man. See y'all next time.
Absolutely, brother. All right. Yeah. So, okay. But a lot of people are talking about draft. Right? We got the draft going on, but we're also talking about Max Crosby. He came out and he basically said that he likes Najee Harris as a potential running back. We got to revamp this running back room. You know what I'm saying? We got to revamp this running back room. There was a comment in the comment section. Again, I appreciate everybody. I think Alec M. been hearing Najee becoming a Raiders. I don't know if he's going to become a Raider, but I do. Max Crosby did come out and say, man, he likes his game.
Yeah.
Chris, what's your thoughts on Najee Harris, man?
Crazy thing, I've always liked Najee. Ever since, when he came out of high school, I remember Michigan was it was actually between us and Alabama. I really thought he was going to pick Michigan, but he didn't. But I really liked him coming out of high school. Enjoy watching his career in Alabama and just even watch him in the pros. I think he's a good back sometimes. Sometimes he can be a little indecisive when he runs. But I'm a fan of him. I think in the right situation, he'll be okay. He's a California kid. Seems to be great in the locker room, good personality, works hard. So I would I'll take him in a heartbeat, honestly. He's a guy that I feel that at least defenses have to they have to at least account for, whereas,
Yeah.
someone like Zamir, it's not like someone like Najee. If you don't really stop him, he could take a game over. But if we get some ballers around him, so safeties and linebackers have to worry about, Brock Bowers. And if we get someone that could truly take off the top, like what we want Trey Tucker to do, it could open up, some lanes for someone like Najee.
Yeah, and one thing I'll add is the only problem that I have with Najee Harris is his vision is very suspect. And I don't like the way when he runs, he just doesn't have that agility to find that cutback lane. And again, it's all dependent on who is our next offensive coordinator, right? If it is Ben Johnson, then I think you could potentially work with him. Obviously, you got Montgomery over there, and so he's going to need a bigger back to kind of combo a shiftier back that he's probably going to want to bring in, just like the combination that the Lions have. But the thing about Najee, man, that when I watch him, and I haven't watched a ton of them, but when I do watch him, I just struggle with his vision. I don't think he makes the right cuts at times. A lot of times he'll run the back of his lineman. It's just tough. I don't like his vision. But we're gonna need a 1-2 punch. Shout out to you, man. You kind of gave me that term, the 1-2 punch, not the running back by committee, but like that 1-2 punch. He could, but man, that one kid that I've been looking at is the kid from North Carolina, the running back from North Carolina.
Yeah.
I think it's Omarion. I want to look more at him, but this kid looks pretty explosive. Again, a little bit question on his vision and his ability to make the right cut in open space. But I do like him. Definitely going to look more at him. Raider Pete, you're saying 8 to 5. What if winning it all increases the payout for Ben Johnson? Be careful what you wish for.
I don't care about the pay.
It
ain't got nothing to do with us.
Open your goddamn checkbook. You have Mark Davis. Okay. One, I will take Ben Johnson winning a Super Bowl and going through that experience and learning it. And winning a Super Bowl means that he just maintained his excellence at play calling, right? That means that he was able to, obviously if the offense stalls and defense wins the game, whatever, right? But you winning a Super Bowl, I'm assuming that you ran an efficient offense against top tier talent and you kept your stock moving up. Mark Davis, open up your goddamn checkbook. Us as Raider fans, we have struggled all like you have to open up a checkbook and it's going to hurt your pocket because of the mistakes you've made in the past. That's on you.
That's it. That's it right there. That's it right there. That's it. That's it. That's it.
We're just fans. So you better do right. It's that simple. You made your mistakes. It's going to bite you in the ass. Now you got to recover from it.
Yeah.
Too bad.
If he would have made better decisions years ago, you wouldn't be paying all this money to coaches. And what was that? I saw the graphic today that I think besides the Browns, we're the only team in NFL history that's going to have a different head coach and GM 3 years in a row.
Yeah, and I think we are averaging, in the last, I want to say the stat was in the last 20 years, we're averaging a new head coach every other year.
It's crazy.
Something stupid. Yeah,
crazy.
It's dumb.
Crazy.
So, Mark Davis, open up your goddamn checkbook. I don't care. If you want to make it right, then see. Yeah. And here's the thing is, if he doesn't nail this, right? Let's say we went and got, let's say we got a Steve Spagnuolo or Vance Joseph or even like a Todd Monken right at this point. Then the thing is that, and this is kind of when the Deion Sanders talks were going on.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like if you went after a Deion Sanders, if you entertained a Deion Sanders, we ended up with them, then that tells me, Mark Davis, you're all about the shiny lights of Vegas and the headlines. That's it.
Yeah. At that point, you don't care about winning. You just want to, just have, the shiny lights, have the big names, Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, so and that's my thing though, is if for some reason, if Ben Johnson interviews twice and reports are good, I mean, if it were to come out that he didn't open his checkbook, if he didn't open up his pocket, I'm
If
telling
that's the
you
reason, yeah.
that's when this fan base will lose their shit more than we've ever seen it. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Let's see. John Fallon's not a big fan of Najee. Okay, I feel you.
See, but Genty, there's no circumstance I would want Genty, and he's a beast. I think he's a monster, but we can't get a running back. That I mean, you get a running back
not
that
early,
early,
not 6. I can't
yeah,
do it at 6.
yeah. We have way too many other needs, and a running back is one of those positions that really, they're dependent on a lot of other people. You know, you're dependent on that offensive line, like Genty. You know, he's not going to have that impact if he doesn't have that line.
Yeah, and again, it all depends. If Ben Johnson is our guy, he might want that 1-2 punch of a bigger running back plus a flashier, Jahmyr Gibbs type of running back that has that agility, and so that's when the draft is going to get fun. Free agency is going to get fun when we nail down the coaches and who we actually have in this building. That's when it's going to get fun.
Yeah, because then we can kind of put the pieces together.
Yeah, absolutely. That Raider fan, what's happening, man? Amorion Hampton. Yep. I'm gonna do a little more research on that kid.
Nice.
Free agency Cam Akers. We'll see. I'm not a big fan of Cam Akers. I think he's definitely a guy that's just so injury prone at this point that I wouldn't be able to pull the trigger. A lot is just dependent on what his price tag would be, but not a big fan of him. Dub Raider, what's up, man? Appreciate you. I know you got your own content too. Everybody, make sure you guys hit up Dub Raider. Look at him. I know he's big on social media,
what's up, Dub?
I think Instagram, all that stuff, man. Make sure you guys go hit him up. 100%.
Fire content.
The only thing that I'm going to add, I know it's a topic that we talked about in the past about Tom Telesco not trading up. The only thing I will add to that is because there was a bunch of speculation on just how much control Tom Brady was going to have. I wonder what Tom Telesco's expectation was. When he was hired for the job, I wonder if he had the mindset of, shit, man, I got 3 years to build something. So I'm not going to trade up. I'm not going to offload a bunch of draft capital. I'm not going to go in and have big splashes in free agency because I got years to build this.
Yep.
If that was his mindset, then I understand.
You can't blame him. You can't blame him.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's hard to know how much Tom Telesco is truly at fault because you really don't know what he thought his situation was. If I thought I was secure as shit, yeah, guess what? I'm not going to give up 3 first-round draft picks. Sorry. I'm going to build this thing.
Right.
And so that's the only one thing I want to add kind of past that. But
my boy Rundown building, salute.
Where's Rundown at? I'm looking through the chat. Where you at? Big dog. There you are.
My boy Raider.
What's happening?
What's good?
What's going on, Rundown? Everybody, make sure you guys go hit up Rundown a little bit. He always throwing out fire content every day, man. I join you too, man. I jump in there, say what's up, and make sure you guys go hit that like button, subscribe, man. So here's the thing, right? A lot of people are talking about draft. It's sitting at 6. And Chris, I'm gonna kind of pick your brain a little bit. Sitting at 6, a lot of us, just Raiders, baby. What's up? What's going on, brother? Appreciate you. Raiders Hawaii, man. Always good seeing you in here. Raiders earn as well. So we're sitting at 6. And I'll tell you, man, everybody wanted to beat the Saints. Everybody wanted to beat the Jags. But there are 2 guys that I really like in this draft, right? One, I would pull the trigger on Cam Ward if he drops, but I don't think he's going to drop. McMillan, the receiver.
That's your guy. That's my guy.
Right now, I really like that guy.
You do.
I think sitting at 6, I don't know if he gets past the Patriots. I think the Patriots can snag him to give Drake May a lot of weapons.
Drake May, yeah.
And I think the Jags can snag him. And that just puts us right out of range. And then you talk about the corner from Michigan.
That's who I want.
Are we just out of range from him? Could someone snag him before us?
Who, Will Johnson?
Yeah, the corner.
Could, yeah, possibly.
And it's like, I wouldn't trade a win over the Jags and a win over the Saints to go get a McMillan or a Will Campbell or something like that. A lot of people are saying Mason Graham rundown. You just said a Mason Graham, the D tackle from Michigan, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to see us bring back Adam Butler.
Yeah.
I really do. And if we bring back Adam Butler and you got Christian Wilkins sitting next to him, I'm just not pulling the trigger on Mason Graham at all.
I love Mason Graham. I absolutely love him. And I'll take him for sure. But I think I would take Will before. I'll take Will Johnson before Mason if they both are on the board.
On the board. And then you got, John Fallon, come back to you again. You're saying if it was me, 6 would love Abdul Carter.
He's a monster.
He's a bad man, but I do think, and Rick L, you're saying the same thing. Abdul Carter's my guy. If you're liking him at 6, here's my thing: is you got to extend Max Crosby. You got a high paid DN. If we bring back Malcolm Kuntz, then there's no room for Abdul Carter. I'm not pulling a six overall 6 pick on Abdul Carter.
I agree.
Now if you let Malcolm Kuntz walk and test free agency and he gets snagged up, it remains to be seen. Do you bring back Caleb Von Chasen at a small contract so that you could take that number 6 and get another big need, right? Because Caleb Von Chasen did his thing at the end of this year. Chris, myself and Severe, we go over game film. He did enough to be a good complement on the opposite side of Max Crosby. And we have so many holes that I do think pulling the trigger on Caleb Von Chasen, knowing that we can establish a number 1 receiver or maybe a top offensive lineman to protect whoever the quarterback's going to be, that would be, again, my choice. Abdul Carter, absolute stud. I do like him. And Rick, you're saying, or let's see, John Fallon, you're saying can never have enough pass rushers. I agree. And
yeah,
in our in our division, the teams that have proven to be able to beat Patrick Mahomes are good defenses. So I'm with you. I'm not saying that it would be a bad pick or I'd be upset, but I also kind of want to see how this offseason plays out with who we pick up. But Chris, you're saying that you would it sounds like you're potentially looking at the corner from Michigan.
Yeah, because my thing is I think a lot of us forget how dominant, well, I can't say forget because it never came to fruition, but like how this defensive line was going to look. But we just never had a chance to see it because 2 games before season kickoff, our guy Kuntz gets hurt. So we never had a chance to see it. People act like Christian Wilkins didn't play that well. I think he played well, and he really was starting to come into his own. Before he got hurt. But Wilkins is a maniac, man, and people got to forget that. Like and then I think Adam Butler, as time went on, we saw he's just a ball of energy, man. Like you get those 4 guys on the line, with that relentless motor that they have. Imagine that, and then you pair, the way that JB was playing on the corner, and then you get a Will Johnson who is probably going to be better than JB.
Yeah.
That makes this whole thing different now. So now you got phenomenal pass rushing, and now you got 2 sticky corners. That's the type of stuff that gives Mahomes issues. Like that's the kind of stuff that gives Justin Herbert issues. That's the kind of stuff that's going to, make Bo Nix have problems. That's how we got to start looking at it.
Yeah, I'm with you. And Phage, and you're right. The new coach will bring this type of players. Absolutely. And that's why I was saying, we just got to kind of wait how this coaching staff plays out to see really what we think they're going to target. But, and Chris, I'm with you, right? Like I've played defense my entire life. And so I'm a big defensive guy.
Yeah.
And it really just remains to be seen. Okay, if we do pick up an Abdul Carter, or we pick up a Mason Graham, or we pick up God, I don't know why I keep blanking on the kid's name, corner from Michigan.
Oh, Will Johnson.
Will Johnson.
Yeah.
We stack up this defense, right? Then it's just going, okay, we still need a number one receiver. So is there someone that's in the later rounds that we can stag that could be a true number one?
You're right.
Or then you look at free agency, right? The big name in free agency is like a T. Higgins. Are you willing
It's
to
gonna be
basically
hard to get him. I think it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, then it's just offsetting that and going, okay, do we want to pay T. Higgins that massive price tag to come in and be that true number one, if that is the path forward, right? Or do you pick up a top tier receiver at number 6, like a McMillan, but then go look at free agency and address that number one, or not number one? I think Jacorian Bennett might be our number one. Then you address the second corner.
Yeah.
So this is where it's going to get very interesting in the offseason, and I can't wait to kind of break it down with everybody in the chat and you and Severe. It's like, we're going to break this whole thing down, because if you take a shot early in the draft, it's trying to look at free agency. How do you offset it and still build this roster with the amount of missing pieces that we have?
No, I agree. I think so I guess my mindset is, and I love what Rick L said kind of towards the bottom of the chat. Talking about the Rams. The Rams hit a home run with Brandon Fisk and Jared Verse. I mean,
Brandon Fisk was my guy early.
And the thing is, that is going to absolutely, I mean, like, that young defense is going to be like, honestly, the Rams are going to be tough, man. They're going to be tough. Like, just in a few drafts, they literally turn their franchise around. Like, they had their little 1 or 2 years after winning the Super Bowl. They had to recover. They're already back just by a couple of drafts. But what I was saying is, I think if we can build this defense to be, as good as what we think it could be, then I think Ben Johnson, being who he is, kind of the whiz kid, I think he can get the most out of someone like a Jacoby Myers. He can take Brock's game to the next level. Yeah, we may not have a top true number one as of yet, but maybe he can get another guy, and it could be, we can get him at different angles and levels. So I guess I'm just going to put my faith into Ben Johnson to be able to put a spark into that offense. And and like I said, the guy that you like, that receiver, I don't know, man. We're gonna have to watch tape on him, man. I like him, but I don't see what you see. So I want to sit down and get to that point, because I do like him, but to me, he's just like I don't know, man. I don't, because you think like a Mike Evans, right?
A more athletic Mike Evans.
Yeah. See, me, I see like a Plaxico Burress.
I mean, no, we're gonna break down some film. We're gonna check it out, 100%.
Yeah.
But Billy Davis, man, I appreciate you coming in the building, man. Always good. I read a rundown you're saying, but if we take Will, I won't be mad at all. Or even McMillan, I'm gonna just feel bad for the homie. At first, he needs a quarterback, and so
right. MC Raider in the building. What's up?
I 100% agree, because here's the thing: is like, you only take McMillan if you do know that you have a clear plan for a quarterback,
True.
and you take McMillan and you have a clear plan. And so I would only take it if, with Ben Johnson, because obviously Ben Johnson, we're going to have to just trust that he's going to dial in this offense the way that he wants to.
Right.
And he's going to have a quarterback or a plan for it. Him and Tom Brady ain't sitting down and they're like, oh, well, what's your plan for the nose guard? No, they're talking quarterback.
Right.
Because we all know it's the biggest need. And so if Ben Johnson does become the head coach, probably 75% of their talks is who's going to be the next quarterback. We find him today, we groom him, he's ready either tomorrow or he's ready next season. There's going to be a clear-cut plan between those two. And so you only take McMillan if Ben Johnson is there, to be honest, and it's just having the trust that he's going to find that quarterback, whether it is a late round Jackson Dart, or if there's somebody else that's on his radar that he knows he can build and groom into a good quarterback. I think what would be crazy, to be honest, is if and it's almost, you have to trust the process, right? And if we get Ben Johnson, I'm gonna tell you right now, you could document it. I will trust the process.
We have to. We have to.
But my thing is that what if they rocked with Aiden O'Connell next year? I wonder just how much this Raider fan base, because I know I don't know if she's still in here, but I think it's Shirley that usually comes into our lives. I think she's about Aiden O'Connell. Man, I'd wonder what the feelings would be if we rocked with Aiden O'Connell and Ben Johnson, because he ain't too far. Like, just his quarterback play ain't too far off of Jared Goff. It ain't too far off. And a lot of people aren't completely high on this quarterback class as a whole. And so I'd just be curious what the nation's
but the thing is, if
would be.
And then it's like, if we do rock with AOC, and if that's the plan, then what's more important in round one, to get a lineman or to get a receiver? Because
lineman.
That's what I'm saying. Lineman. So it's almost like if you got to get a lineman, I think.
Lineman. I would beef up this O-line as much as possible, so Aiden O'Connell can be that statue back there.
Exactly, and that's the only way it would work. And that's the only way it work.
And the reason why I love building the trenches, because you kill two birds with one stone. You've heard me say it, right? You protect the quarterback, your most prized possession, but then you have an offensive line that can open up running lanes, and running backs get hurt, and so you can basically plug somebody in there that can find some success. Red Dad, you're saying bring in, I'm guessing you're saying Tyreek Hill. Man, I struggle with that. I don't want him. Not the drama, nothing like that.
He wouldn't be happy. He wouldn't be happy with us. So don't even.
I'd struggle with it.
Yeah,
he'd get pissed when Brock Bowers is getting too many catches.
Yeah, I don't.
Let's see. Yeah, MC Raider, going up, man. Everybody, shout out to MC Raider. Go hit him up. I know he's all over social media as well, Instagram, all that stuff, man. Go hit him up for sure. But man,
MC Raider has a funny video of when, because he was at the draft with us in Detroit, and he has a lot of good documentation of when we drafted Brock Bowers and how mad Turf was. Turf was so mad. Turf was so mad. He wanted to leave Detroit that night and go back home to Texas. That's how pissed he was. He was so pissed. It was
and Raider G, I'm telling you, it's gonna start. I feel you. It's gonna start.
This is one BJ.
God damn it. You two's gonna kick us off with all this stuff. Space Beast, man. T-Mac is an alien. I'm telling you, like, we'll definitely take a look at him.
I don't know why. I don't know why I don't see it, man. I don't know why.
Chris, we're gonna break down film, and I'm gonna show it to you. That's what's gonna happen.
I mean,
I'm gonna bring it to the light. I'm gonna bring it to the light, man.
Yeah, help me. Hey, telling you.
Yeah, rundown. We talked to Hendon Hooker. Might grab him. I don't even know if I'd give a third, to be honest. I would maybe give a fourth, and I don't know if they would accept it at all. But I would. That's just me. I don't know if I'd give a third for Hendon Hooker. But if it's to get Ben Johnson in the building, I'll send a third.
I don't have their depth chart in front of me, but when I thought back at preseason, he was like third on the depth chart, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, like I almost remember someone else coming in before him, just when I was watching preseason. But again, I don't know. I don't even know. I forgot who it was, but who knows?
Yeah, I'd pull the trigger on Jackson Dart in round 2. I would. I think he might not. We could probably get him early. I mean, like maybe we could, because we are early in the second, but because of all the talks, I think people are going to maybe pull the trigger a little bit. Maybe late in the first, and you could see a quarterback maybe trade up and snag him if they really like him with all the toss going on. Raider Hawaii, as bad as our quarterback situation was, we had 2,000-yard receivers. Yeah, we did. One thing to think about.
That's because we had no running game.
Yeah, and one thing to think about is like the quarterback, a lot that has to do with the quarterback's success is the environment that they're in, the coaches that are around them, the support system that they have, right? Could you imagine? And I'm not saying that Luke Getsy would have done this with Sam Darnold, but here's the thing. Could you imagine if we brought in Sam Darnold last year instead of Gardner Minshew? The amount of just chaos that would happen with this Raider fan base just because of Sam Darnold and just how bad he's been in the past, they would have lost their shit. They would have lost their shit because Sam Darnold just has been known his entire career as a bad quarterback.
Yeah.
But you look, he was with the Jets. Horrible situation, horrible coaching, horrible surrounding. Didn't give him the best chance of success. Then he goes to the Niners as a backup. But people would have lost their shit, and rightfully so. I'd understand.
Yeah.
Everybody thought Minnesota was crazy for going to pick up Sam Darnold, and he wasn't going to be that good. And look what he's done. So I think a lot has to do with the surrounding and support system of the quarterback. So, and I say that because, you know, if for some reason Ben Johnson likes Aiden O'Connell, then roll with it. Roll with it, do your thing. May not be too happy about it, but we gotta trust the process a little bit.
That's the thing, man. If we get Ben, I'm definitely gonna trust him. You know, everybody knows how I feel about AOC. You know, I don't see it, but if Ben sees it, if Ben can, you know, untap something, then let's rock. But we're definitely going to have a line. I mean, we're going to have to get a lineman. We're going to have to. I mean, in free agency, get linemen, draft linemen. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah, and J-Dog, you're saying I don't think we have to trust a process. Campbell's success is because of Johnson's playbook.
Campbell sets the tempo for that team.
Yeah,
he sets the tempo. But I get what you're saying.
So Campbell's success is because of Johnson's playbook. Well, we'll see, because and this is one of the reasons why I am leaning much more towards bringing an offensive-minded head coach, because this is what's going to be interesting. When Dan Campbell loses Ben Johnson,
then what?
How well is he going to find the next OC?
Exactly.
And when you keep switching offensive coordinators on quarterbacks, it ain't fun. We've seen it so many times in the league. So we'll see. LS in the building, appreciate you, man. If Johnson liked AOC, he would have considered us for an interview, wouldn't have needed Brady to twist his arm. I don't know about that. I think, to be honest with you, man, I think that it's more about the distrust of Mark Davis and how this organization has been ran for a while, to be dead honest with you. You could like a quarterback, but man, I'll tell you right now, it'd be different if you're going with a well-known successful quarterback. Like if you're going with a Trevor Lawrence, if you think Trevor Lawrence is that good to get you to the promised land, you could maybe overlook a little bit of an organization. Aiden O'Connell just isn't that impressive of a quarterback.
Right.
And so I think if you liked Aiden O'Connell a little bit, he's not good enough to come over and risk your only your first shot as a head coach under Mark Davis's organization. I think that's more of a deterrent of coming to the Raiders is Mark Davis. I do think Tom Brady was definitely the reason, and without him, I don't know if he comes over here, to be honest with you, whether he liked Aiden O'Connell or not. And Aiden O'Connell, again, I don't know if he did enough to know whether or not you like him or not.
No, I agree.
But yeah, man, that's the thing. It's going to get very interesting as we kind of go on. Raquel, Justin Fields incoming. If again, I'm gonna stay as consistent as possible. If Ben Johnson's the guy, I'll trust him. I'm not a big Justin Fields fan. I'll trust the process.
That's gonna be the hard part, man. It's just because we do that so much. But I think Ben, I mean, we've seen what Ben can do. You know, we've seen his offense, you know, when it's really rolling. But yeah, but we'll see. It's just AOC, man. He just has to. It's like everything has to be perfect. You know, I won't say perfect, but for him to play the way that we want him to play, he's going to have to be able to have the time, the process of field, have a clean pocket. We're not there yet as a team.
No, but again, I'll trust the process. I will.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson's in the building. Now, Jerry, for sure, you're saying, what about trading for Joe Milton? I don't know if I'd want to trade for Joe Milton. I don't know if I want to give draft capital for Joe Milton. I know he had that good game. It's late in the season. You don't know how much that was him or
that was a preseason game, man. That's what I call it. That was a preseason game.
So I don't know if I would give up draft capital.
Screen.
I want to give this new regime as much draft capital to play with. But the only reason why I would give up draft capital is if Ben Johnson wanted Hendon Hooker to bring to come in and have that easy transition. That's just
would you rather Hendon Hooker or ALC get the nod?
Oh, shit. Because I liked Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. I think he was a little sometimes for show. Sweet feet, man. Someone's got to say it.
Sweet feet, Mumford.
Severe in building. Sam Darnold is only a year older than 8. Okay.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I like Severe always coming with the age comments. I like it. I mean, I honestly don't know because here's my thing. I like Hendon Hooker out of Tennessee. I think Hendon Hooker, there was some flaws in his game a little bit. He threw into a lot of double coverage a lot. I know his touchdown to interception ratio was really good. I think he had 30 plus touchdowns to like 4 interceptions.
Yeah,
ridiculous before he got hurt. And so, but I also do not like that Tennessee offense. If you go back and look at that Tennessee offense, the guy that runs it over there, it's nothing but screen passes. I mean, I started counting at one point how many screen passes he was running. That's why I wasn't high on Milton because I wasn't sure how well he was going to do in the league with the transition. I mean, I counted in the first quarter, I counted 7 screenplays, like wide receiver screens. I'm like, I don't know how prepared they're going to be for that transition. But I don't know if I would give up draft capital for Joe Milton. If we do it, I'd be Hendon Hooker if we got
definitely not Milton. No way.
Yeah, J Red Nation, bring back Khalil Mack.
He wouldn't come back.
He would. I'd break out my jersey again, but
you still got it?
I still got it. And he's the only jersey I've ever purchased that he was the reason why I stopped buying current
players.
Jerseys.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
I now will only rock the jersey and buy it if you retire. And you're done. I can't.
I'm with
you.
Done
with it.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Noah Calderon saying Hooker had a good last year in college. He did, but again, go back and watch that offense. It was like 70-80%. 70-80% screen passes.
Screens and
So I just don't know how that translates or if it can. That's the problem I have with Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah,
Shedeur Sanders, a lot of his success was off of screen passes, and he had the athletes around him to kind of make it work. And so that's why I'm kind of struggling. But man, hey, I appreciate everything you're building. Man, Chris, if you got anything else, we've been rocking for an hour and a half. We're definitely going to jump on here a lot more, keep talking. But we got a bunch of people. We got some new people coming through. What's happening? P-Ring 1700. Appreciate you. Same here. Jack Jersey, the last one I ever bought. Man, I stopped. I couldn't do it no more.
That hurt a lot of people right there. That hurt a lot of people.
I was so pissed when he walked out that building, but it is what it is. But I just don't buy jerseys. I won't even buy a Max jersey, nothing until they retire and they out the building and we see how it all plays out. So, but yeah, SoCal, man, I'm with you. But yeah, man, Chris, any last words before we hop out of here?
No, man, I'm ready to see what happens, man. I think either you or Severe were saying that it's just time to see what Tom Brady can do. I know we kind of started the entire show kind of talking about the Tom Brady effect. I will say I feel like it is real. I feel like there is something to it. Because I went from a 5 to a 7. I'm starting to believe. I'm starting to drink that pause. I'm starting to drink that Tom Brady Kool-Aid. That sounds wild, but actually, never mind. Go ahead, man. Check me out on Protect the Chill podcast.
J Dog, man, we're gonna stop this session just because of this comment.
I'm gonna buy a McDaniel's jersey.
Damn it, you gonna end it like that? But you know what I'm saying? So trust me, guys, when we jump on here, we're not going to talk about every GM and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, I think we're going to more kind of aim towards what we think is most likely going to happen. You know, we might touch on some names and stuff, but at the end of the day, we want to wait, see how this thing plays out, see what coach comes in, and we're going to jump on. We got some fun things kind of cooking up. I threw some ideas at the guys before to kind of you know, excite things up a little bit, because I think there's going to be a lot of just repetitiveness when it comes to all these head coaching and all the head coaching, all the GM talks, all that stuff. And so we're going to do some things to kind of get you guys involved and make sure we rock out and have a good time. So we appreciate it. All you guys pulling up. Make sure you guys hit up Chris, Protect Show Podcast, rocking with me, and our guy down below in the comment, T Severe Raider. Make sure you hit up the Severe Raider. I'm Real Talk Raider Nation 805 Raider. But we're going to hit you guys either later this week, over the weekend, but we're going to keep rocking the lives. Make sure you guys check out. I dropped some videos here and there just to kind of keep you guys updated, but make sure you guys hit us up on social media too. So I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Make sure you check in on your way out. We appreciate you, and we'll see you on the next one. We out.